Today we're going to go over pressure checking a charge air cooler system. This pressure tester is a turbo boost leak test off Amazon. It's like 50 bucks. They go for 50 to 100 bucks depending on which ones you get. This one has just a little valve stem you push air into, would put air into, and it even has a little gauge. You will need an air compressor obviously, and basic tools to pull your intake pipe off. Soapy water. I put Dawn's dish soap in this and then cut it with water. I also have a regulator. I don't want to screw with the air compressor, so I just put that regulator in line, and then I run a chuck to this, and I use this to control how much air is going in there. I usually set it to about 8 psi or so, and I go around putting air in the system. So we're going to slap this bad boy on and get going. Why would we want to do this? Loss of fuel mileage, low power, excessive black smoke, etc. So it's a good thing to do once a year or so. Or if you change out your turbo, that's a perfect time to do it. All right, so now we're going to put this Amazon turbo boost leak tester on. Make sure this one just uses a valve stem to pressurize it, and make sure that the valve stem and the gauge is up in a position where you can read it. So we're going to slide this bad boy on. It's on all the way. Make sure the nut's in a spot that I can get to. All right, we got to tighten her down now. Oh yeah, she ain't going anywhere. Okay, now the next thing that I do, I already got my soap. I'm gonna set the soap right up here. Soapy water. I use I'm gonna put a regulator right next to my air chuck. That way I can just have the air chuck being held down, just putting constant regulated pressure in there. All right, let's see, let's get this bad boy hooked up. Okay. That bad boy hooked up. All right. Now it's kind of hard to see, but the regulator hasn't moved yet. There we go. Regulator starting. Nice, Duncan. Round two, boys. That can happen if you don't have it on very tight. So we're going to slowly add some air. That popped off at like 15. Usually I only try to go up to like 8-10 pounds, but I got a little greedy on that last one. All right, so it's creeping up. It's creeping up. All right, so let me see if I can get you guys in here carefully. See if I can pick this bad boy up. Let's see if I can do this smoothly. All right. So pretty much what we start doing now, let me get a light. Head over here, get this big bad boy. Bam, now we can see. Start spraying connections. That's why I don't be scared to use a lot of soapy water. All right, I don't see any bubbles in there. Let's see if I can get you guys in there. Yeah, it's looking nice and good there. All right, let's go to, there's also a boot connection right down there to check, but I'm gonna skip that because I know it's good on this truck. I've recently checked it. Let's go over to one of the big culprits, the heater grid area. This thing, these are notorious for blowing out. I should be pretty good. I have a Rimflex gasket on this one. Look right there. Even this newer Rimflex, that's a pretty good little leak. It's not massive, but that's a pretty good little leak. I'll see if I can tighten that bolt more to get to go away. Also need to check down here. Intake plenum gasket. I'm not seeing any leaks right here, so now you got to spray up underneath. I'm not seeing any leaks right there, and everyone's like, oh, you'll hear it. You don't always hear these leaks. So now we're gonna come over here. I'm not seeing much over here. I'll climb up the top, check the top. Get all the way up in there. Looking pretty good. I don't see much. So that's the big one. You'll see it's still bubbling off the top of that bolt and right there. So I mean, it's not bad. It's not great. I'd like it to be a little bit more sealed than that, but that's just proof no matter how much new parts you throw at it, they're eventually just going to start leaking again. But we try to have as few leaks as possible. Less leaks, more better. So let's see if I got, here I got a 10 mil right here. Let's see if it's loose. It's a little bit loose. Want to over tighten it. Spray it some more, see if it slowed down the leak. Nope. Still leaking a good amount. So I'll order up another Rimflex gasket. I really like the Rimflex personally. I think they're like a graphite based. I think they do a good job. The base one's doing real good. It's not leaking, so. Also, you check over here. If you have any NPT plugs on the back of this, you always want to check that because sometimes they'll develop leaks over time or they'll just fall out. I've seen them literally fall out. On this truck, there's a boost reference line. Goes here, goes to the AFC housing. Want to check that one. And there's also the hard line that goes from the turbo onto this side. I'm pretty sure I removed that one already. Yes, I removed that one on this truck, so it doesn't have that. But you'll want to check these. Spray these down with soapy water. And just kind of go over the whole thing. There's also one down here to do, and you can spray these as well. The end tanks over time, where the tube and fins meet the end tanks, they're looking okay on this side. Notoriously, they usually crack at the ends where the connections are. You can't really check the backside very well, but this gives us a good little idea. I don't see any leaks that are obvious. All right, so not bad. Ideally, if you aren't sure about your intercooler, it's best to pull the whole thing out, cap one side, and just pressure check the whole thing, because these are notorious for leaking over time. They end up cracking like right there. Aftermarket ones like Mishimoto and a couple others crack at the weld, but that's a stalker. So yeah, I'll order up a new one for right there. We'll fix that leak. Why do you want to fix your boost leaks? Because you'll be low on power Your fuel mileage will suffer nominally depending how large it is. And it's just, you're losing efficiency. You can overspeed a turbo, etc. So, yep, it's always a good thing to do. And that's that setup on. One area, if you have an HX35, they will always leak, is the back. There is a circlip back there. It's kind of hard to see, but that circlip will always leak. It kind of is what it is. How much it leaks kind of varies, but the only way to totally fix that, doesn't matter if you run a O-ring cover, O-ring bearing housing or not. The only way I've 100% fixed it is only on my own, where I put a ton of the right stuff and use that as a sealing agent. I don't think that's really the right thing to do to sell. So most of my covers come with the O-ring, but we just do our best to keep those sealed. But that's how you pressure check a charged air cooler system. And that's what a small leak looks like. Big leaks, you'll definitely see or hear. So thanks guys, that's it. That's a wrap for today.